Well, good morning. It is earlier than you might expect, but yet it still feels late. I was trying to get on here at 9 o'clock this morning. I think I'm going to make this my new time. But it's also the first day of school here in the house, and of course everything is blowing up and kids aren't, wanting to go to school or cooperate. So it took me a couple minutes to get some things settled this morning, but here I am. We're going to try going from 9 to 11 every day instead of the 10 to noon that we've been doing. So it still overlaps the kind of time that we have been here, but it gives me an opportunity to start a little earlier, which frees up a little bit more of my day to get work done. I don't know. So with that, we have a couple of pieces of exciting news. The first is last week we crossed a very exciting milestone. We got over 500 followers. I think if I jump into the chat, I don't know if this is working right now. I was trying to get my bot set up and then the whole world exploded here. And I typed it wrong. And it doesn't look like it's working anyway. $504. Whew. Well, we made a promise a while back that if we were going to get over 500, that I would do an entire episode dressed as an X-Wing pilot. Now, it's not going to be today, but one of the other bits of news that I wanted to share with you is that I'm going to try and go every day. So I think by moving from 10 to noon to 9 to 11, that will also give me the flexibility to go every day. And so I'm really looking forward to that idea because I want to work on this stuff, and I really enjoy being on here, and I want to make sure that I'm giving myself enough time to build the things that I want to build. And so with that, I think we're going to try and schedule the X-Wing pilot episode for Wednesday. This Wednesday. That'll be August 26th. I think that feels like the right time to do it, and then we'll figure it out from there. And so I've got my helmet, I've got my uniform, feeling pretty good about it. But I need to get to Wednesday. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, actually, I haven't talked to you guys about this very much, but I have some back pain that I've been fighting for a couple of years, actually, and I've been going to physical therapy lately, which has been helping. It's not perfect, but it's helping, and I have that on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and so that's from 7:30 to 8:30, and so I'm going to kind of roll in here. I'm going to get a quick shower, and then I'll be on at 9. But I want to make sure I give myself enough time to get ready, and so I think we'll do it on Wednesday. So I'm going to be very surprised to see who shows up here early today, because that means you're paying attention to the notifications. Otherwise, I think we'll probably have people. The regulars show up at 10 when they think this is supposed to start. But in the meantime, I'm going to build some stuff because I want to talk through what I've built so far. There's a couple of pieces that are new to what we've done. I worked a little bit on Thursday and Friday on this, but I wasn't able to get on stream. I had an awesome conference that I was at. I was in my house, but I was speaking at an event called Codepalooza, which is normally an awesome in-person event that happens in Louisville, Kentucky. And I got to give an Alexa workshop on that Wednesday morning. I got to give my presentation, 10 Things Every Voice App Should Do, on Friday morning, but they both happened to land right at the same time that I would stream, and so I wasn't able to do any streaming last week, at least Wednesday and Friday. But here we are. It's a clean week. I don't really have a lot going on in the mornings because most of my team works on the West Coast. So I feel like 9 to 11 is going to be a new winner for me. I was very tempted to even kick it back to 8 a.m. But I know there's days that I lay in bed until 7:40. So I don't necessarily want to force myself to be like pretty by 8 o'clock, but here we are. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to get right into it. So I'm going to jump over to this view. Let's give that one more font bump and shrink some things here. So the stuff that I was working on Monday, I had run into two issues, and I haven't solved one of the issues yet, but I have solved the first one. So the thing that I was running into is what do I do in the situations? This is start slots. I want the start poker one because that's what we're working on right now. I was running into this situation where, one, what happens if they have an invalid wager? And I now have that solved. So let's take a look at a couple of these things just so we can see how these test out. I really need to figure out the resolution on these two, because the resolution on this laptop, this new one, is so much higher even than the one I had before that everything is just so tiny. I gotta figure out how to make this better. But so if I say open the Chatsino, well, that's not going to work because I haven't started anything. Let's do that. npm run dev. That should get me everything I need. Beautiful. Let's try that again. Maybe. Ooh, we got an error.
The requested skill did not provide a valid response.
Number intent handler is not defined, you say. Oh, yeah, that makes sense because I ripped that out right before I finished working, and then I didn't test it again. So let's take this away. These are just remnant bugs, nothing big. Okay, so let's try that one more time. npm run dev. Beautiful. Okay, things are running. Let's try one more time to just open our casino, and welcome to the Chatsino.
Welcome to the Chatsino. What would you like to do?
So what I'd like to do is bet 5 on... No, I don't want to bet 5 on poker. Let's bet 5,000 on poker.
Your wager is invalid. Your current available balance is 258 coins. You can bet any amount up to your balance. How much would you like to bet on poker?
So one of the things that I had struggled with here, and I think I still struggle with it, but we're going to just go forward, is that there's a number of reasons why your bet could be invalid, right? You could have written bet tacos on poker, and I should be like, tacos isn't a valid bet, silly. But I don't think I care that much. I'm trying to make this standardized and simple, and so I think just anything that doesn't qualify as a valid bet, which includes valid bets like 5,000, but you just don't have enough coins for it. So this is the kind of response that you'll get every time. Your wager is invalid, your current available balance is 258, you can bet any amount up to that balance. How much would you like to bet? And that's the kind of thing you're going to get every time you give me a invalid bet. So it doesn't matter if you say tacos or 5,000, all of them will do that. But one of the other things that I needed to do was if I say bet 5 on poker.
You already have an active game of video poker waiting for you. You wagered 100 coins. You already have a winning hand. You were dealt 10 of clubs, 10 of spades, 8 of hearts, 5 of clubs, and 2 of spades. Which cards do you want to hold?
And so this is the new wall that I've run into. I can create a hand of poker, right? If I have a valid bet, it will deal me 5 cards, and it'll tell me what I have. And you can even see with this one, it tells me you already have a winning hand. Great, I have a winning hand, that's awesome. And then it tells me what my cards are. But then it says, what cards do you want to hold? And you'll notice that even though I said bet 5 on poker, it says, oh, you already have an active game of video poker waiting for you. This is that scenario that we talked through last Monday, which is I put some money into the video poker machine, and I'm dealt the 5 cards. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. I've dealt you your 5 cards, and we're now in the position of the game where you need to decide which cards you want to hold. But I walked away. I left the machine, I walked away, and I come back later, and the device is able to recognize me and say, oh, that's Jeff again. Hey, Jeff, you were in the middle of a hand. Do you want to keep playing? That's more or less what's happening here. I'm torn between the options, which are orphan records in my database. So, because I don't have an event to close a game when you walk away from the machine. There's no event that lets me know necessarily that you're leaving. I guess if the skill closes, that would be something I could use, but I don't really feel right about just closing your game because the skill closed, right? Especially if you were betting a lot and then like you get a phone call or something, like it just gets weird. And so there's a number of reasons why it wouldn't be your fault why you let the skill close, and so I didn't want to use that to close your game, because you just auto lose. The second option was if you try to start a new game, that I then choose to close your previous game, because you're trying to start a new one. But it may just be that you don't remember that you had a previous game, and especially if you're, again, wagering a lot of coins, I wouldn't want all those coins to necessarily just go away. So the third option was, hey, if you try to start a game of poker, but you already have an active game of poker, I should tell you, by the way, hey, you already had one. You bet 100 coins. Here's what cards you had. Good morning, W. Georgia. Yes, I did start earlier. I went on a little monologue about this earlier, but more or less, I think this is going to be my new time. I think I'm going to go 9 to 11 every day versus 10 to noon every other day. I think that's the plan. So I think that's the situation that I'm in. How does that work for you? Is 9 to 11 a good time for you? A bad time for you? Because I think it makes my day more flexible. What I was doing before is I was getting to my desk at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and trying to get some work done, and then realizing, oh my gosh, I got to get on stream. Because it was almost like the middle of the morning when I was starting. And so I feel like this kicks it up a little bit so that I can get up, I can focus on just what I'm going to do on stream this morning. And then once I'm done with the stream, then I can go finish my work day and get everything else done. So that, W. Giorgio, is the plan. Actually, I haven't checked this. Is this running? Did I get it running right this morning? Oh, I didn't mean that. Oh, it is good. It is running good. I was going to start streaming to around this time, but I might change to lunch times again. Yeah, and I don't want to be the guy that dictates schedules, but I feel like I'm trying to fit this in a way where I can do this every day, and I've got to move it a little earlier in the morning if I'm going to do that, because by noon, my West Coast compadres are all in the office, and usually it's about 11:30 my inbox starts filling up and I start getting messages, and I feel like I'd rather do this when they're not in the office, and this allows me to finish at basically 8 a.m. their time is when I'm done. And so 8 a.m. their time is not a time I generally see a lot of messaging or questions or interactions. So that's why I'm here. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it this way. So yeah. Another thing that I'm going to work on is completely overhauling the interface. I have some things that I want to change. I've been looking around at some other streams to figure out how I can best accomplish the things that I want to do. And I have some add-ins and plugins and things that I want to play with. So I will be dedicating some time to making the stream cooler too, because right now it's kind of in this sideways state where I've kind of moved some things around. I added the social icons there on the right, but you can't click on them. That would be cool if you could. So I'm gonna add some things. I think I might add a scroller with like news and information, or something that I can update that has like the big wins that happen in the casino. Those things could happen there. So we'll see. I have some ideas on things that I want to add to the stream, but I don't want to take away from the primary purpose of this screen, which is to see this. And so yeah, that's all stuff that I'm throwing around in my head as we go through this. You see a lot more Red Bulls in my hand, especially early in the morning. Come on, W. Giorgio, get the win. Oh, why didn't that work? Why didn't that work? Huh, hold on a second. It looks like it's working. I know you can't see me right now, but I'm on the old dev machine, and I'm trying. The bots are running. It seems like they're working. What I'm trying to figure out right now is I have a tool that will force this machine to not go to sleep. I just have to find that. I think that's what we just encountered, was that this machine went to sleep. No. Man, I really thought I had this on here. Oh, there it is. Okay. I think we're going to be good now on that. The bot seems to be running properly, and the bot needs a Red Bull too. Yeah, it just took a minute. What happened is I woke the machine back up. It had locked itself. And it seems like maybe it won't let those things run while it's locked. Okay, so bot is running. It's a little warm in here today. I'm going to lose the sweatshirt. Okay, time to get down to business. Time to do some things. And the first thing that I really need to focus on or figure out or something is... No, let's not do all that. We have our skill running, and it asks me what cards I want to hold. So what I've done, and we did a little bit of this on Monday, I will eventually just set them up on EC2. I have an EC2 instance available that I've set up for this specific purpose, but I haven't moved the code over there, and I need to just get it up and running. The problem I have is that I'm trying to rebuild the thing right now, so I don't really want to invest a lot in the current state of the bot, because I plan on kind of fixing it, changing it, whatever. So I have these intents, and one of the things that I created was this poker hold intent. This is something that we worked on a little bit on Monday. And maybe was I going this route? I don't remember if I wanted to do this or if I didn't want to do this. Let's see. I had started down this path with a number intent, which was just meant to catch numbers for me. But I feel like I think I got rid of it because I didn't like the direction I was headed. I think the challenge that I'm having with this poker hold intent is that you say things like hold the third or hold the fifth or keep 1, 2, and 4. And what I'm finding in my experience with that, I'll show you, is that let's say with this one I have the 2 10s. So I want to say hold 1 and 2.
You just triggered poker hold intent. What should we do now?
Now that's all well and good. I'm hitting the right intent. That's perfect. But down here at the bottom, I want you to see this. My position number is giving me 1, 2, or 12. I don't love this. And I'm really struggling with the fact that it works this way because I was really counting on getting multiple values for the slot, not one value that I have to then take apart. Now, I don't expect, at least for this intent, I don't expect to get a value over 5. So I could just always parse 2-digit numbers. That's an easy, obvious solution to this. It just feels hacky. And it feels like there's got to be a better way to do this. But I don't know what else I can do to get those to split. So what I really want to do is spend some time, maybe today, let's add a new to-do item. Talk to someone about multi-value slots. combining numbers. Okay. So I think I don't have a good way to solve this right now. And I really need this to work before I can finish poker. Is that the thing I want to do today, or do I want to move on to roulette? Roulette's going to be hard too. What do I have intent-wise? Do I have like a... I have the start things, right? Start roulette intent. I don't have a... Do I have a wager intent? Bet intent? I don't know what the poker deal intent is. What is that? Give me more cards. Draw and deal. I guess that would be the... I don't want to hold anything? I don't know what I was thinking there. I'm probably going to need a bet intent, I would think. And it's going to have to take into consideration what game you're currently playing. Because my start roulette intent has like play wager on position. And I have wager in position required. This bet intent was actually something I was trying to avoid. I guess I can still avoid it. Where did that bet intent go? Let's get rid of that. How? Yeah, that's everything's a different interface. So come down here to the bet intent. I'll delete that. And we'll get rid of the number intent. I don't think I need that. It's easy enough to bring back. So if I look at my roulette intent, maybe we can live with this. So what this is doing, what do I have for start poker? I have bet 5 on poker, but that's a single bet game. Start roulette intent is a multi-bet game. But I can say bet 5 on roulette, bet 10 on odd or whatever. And so this what we should do here is if they have an active game of roulette going, and I feel like roulette games could go on for a long time, because what's the point in closing it? I'll have to give you the ability to remove a bet. That's going to be weird too. Like, how do you pull... Like, I guess you could just say, clear my chips or something. But it'll have to be kind of generic. I don't think I can have you say, like, remove the 5 chips from the 4. Maybe I can. Let's add that to our to-do list. Poker, slots, roulette. Oh, this is solved. Okay. But for roulette, we're going to need something like... How does a user remove one or many bets from the table? Okay. See, I started down this path and then I bailed on it again. I don't know why I keep unifying all of my data. Well, another thing that I really wanted to do today... Oh, no. Gang, I gotta step away for a second. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna throw the loading screen on, and I will be back. And we're back. So I had a quick little phone call there. I'm doing a bunch of interesting streams on the Alexa channel later this week. I'm doing an episode of Alexa and Friends with another awesome person from the Alexa Science Organization. That's coming up on Thursday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. No, other way. 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. And then I am also doing another thing at that same time, just after that. I think it's at 8:30 Eastern, no, 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. We're going to do a whole Alexa conversation. So should be pretty cool. Okay, so I've lost everybody that was watching, which is fine because I went away. But we are back, and I'm going to get some work done here. So let's move this mat. So I have like this really nice like ergonomic mat for standing on. Like this is a standing desk, obviously. And then I have this stool, and the stool's great for when I just want to sit down and write some code, which is what we're about to do here. So when I walked away, just briefly there, I was working on the idea. Oh, W. Georgia, good. I'm glad you're still here. I was working on figuring out what to do with this whole poker thing, and I think I'm going to put a pause on that because I need to talk with some folks at Amazon to figure out how I should best approach that problem. Because I feel like I'm doing it the right way, but it doesn't seem to be going the right way. So I'll talk with them about that. But in the meantime, what I was trying to figure out is how I would handle roulette. And it looks like I can say play roulette, and it'll say how much do you want to bet and what position do you want to bet. And then the user should be able to continue saying that, right? Bet 5 on 10, bet 12 on red, or whatever. And we should be able to continue adding bets as long as they still have money. And then there will be a spin the wheel. So, all right, so let's think about how that's going to work. So our start roulette intent, let's look at what we've written for code so far, because I don't think that we have all of that stuff yet. My start roulette intent is a throwaway. I have their wager in the position. You wagered coins in roulette. So I think when they start a roulette game, I need to actually start the game. So let's look at how like a video poker game works, because this is kind of how I'll do it for that. So I have, let's get our session attributes. We probably will need that too. Start roulette intent. Oh, I have my session attributes, and I have that stuff. So that's perfect. We can close this one. In here, this is where I call chatsino.poker.play. Now, play isn't the right word here, because with slots and with poker, when you say start a game, I ask you how much you want to bet, and then oh, did we have something close? What happens if I save? It looked like it had stopped working there for a second, but I think maybe it's still rolling. For those, when you give me your wager, we do start playing the game. I spin the slot machine for you, or I deal you your first 5 hands, but for roulette, it's different. It's betting. You can... Yeah. Let's talk about data structure. Maybe that's the place I need to start, is we'll talk about what this data structure is going to look like, and maybe that will inform how I actually want to do this. So if we come in here and we take a look at game, I don't think there's ever a situation where a user really needs to say, I have a game of slots. But they should have a game of slots, right? Like they should have a contained game of slots, or not, of roulette, that they can apply wagers to. So that still feels right. I'll create a game for them if they don't have one, but they'll only ever have one. There's no reason to ever close a game of roulette. The same way there's no reason to ever close a game of craps. The game's always there. You can always add more bets. You can always roll the dice again. Where with a game of slots, that's kind of a contained thing. Video poker is kind of a contained thing. So I think what we'll do is we'll create a new game record that is roulette. Do I have a game type of roulette? I don't. So we'll do that. So I'll at least know that they've created a roulette game. I can see how many users have ever played roulette, basically. And then they will place wagers. Those all need to go in this table. But the thing that I don't have in here is a position. This is why I wanted to do things as separate tables for each game. Because what I really need here now is a position field. And it's just going to be a single line of text, because it'll be red or 5 or odd or whatever. So I already hate that, but it's fine. This is where something like DynamoDB actually succeeds well, because every record can have its own schema. Later, I will hate that every record doesn't have its same schema, because when you try to do reporting and stuff, it can get weird. But this is okay. I can just choose or not choose to include a position. So I'll only have positions for roulette. I'll also have positions for craps. So that's good. Then I'll have that for both of those. I won't have outcomes. I'm gonna have to have a roulette table. And this, let's see what video poker does. Video poker is a matter of every single hand. So I feel like roulette, this needs to be record ID. Let's at least clear that out. Record ID. This is a formula equaling record ID. Okay, and then for video poker, I'm tagging it with the game ID, right? I don't really... Is that how I want to do this? Do I want to tag it to the game ID? Yeah, because I'm basically gonna have every spin. So we'll call this game ID, and we'll call this link to another record game. No, there cannot be multiple records. Okay, so that's game ID. That's what I did here for video poker, right? We can blow this up a little bit. So I have game ID, and then we'll need spin. This is going to be the actual, so like every time there's a spin, I will create a record in here. Why am I doing this? Oh, you want a timer? I don't know that I need a timer. I feel like the user gets to decide when the spin happens. Now you've got me thinking, W. Giorgio. I don't know that I want the timer per se. Well, I shouldn't need the spin. I think it's interesting to keep that. It lets me look at analytics and show historical data. You know, like when you're at a roulette table and they have that little chart that shows you like the last 20 spins. People think they see patterns. So this is just going to be a number. Is it going to be a number? Yeah, it's going to be a number. Integer. Save. And then when I spin, get rid of this column for now. Once I've spun, then I need to revisit the wager table and say, this one won, this one lost. And when they lose, they get marked as completed. Well, the position, this column here, W. Giorgio, this is where it'll be text. This is the where they made their bet. But for roulette, this is the actual outcome of the spin. So this will be like 23 or 47. It's just that 47 also happens to be red. It also happens to be odd. I know 47 is not a real number in roulette, but like that kind of thing. Do I want to... This is me recording the outcome of the game, where the wagers are recording the prediction of the game, basically. If that makes sense. So with roulette, I need the game ID, so I know what game it is, and the spin, and then I should probably have like outcome. And this could be a list of those terms, right? The red, odd, even, high, low kind of stuff. What do I save in video poker? With video poker, I have two things, right? I have the opening hand, the closing hand, and then the remaining deck. This is just a recording of the game. So this doesn't even have the outcome. I save the outcome in the wager. And I can't really do that for roulette because there's multiple spins on a specific wager. Unless I could treat roulette like every spin is a game and the table is cleared after every spin. No, they're not going to like that, because if you're playing a real game of roulette, if you bet on the numbers, unless it hits your number, your money goes away, right? You lose those bets. But if you bet on red and it hits red, you would want your money to stay there. You want to bet on red again. I would think. Unless maybe... I mean, I could clear all the bets every time, but that would mean that you'd have to then, like, put 5 more on red, put 5 more on 4. And that's another thing that we'll have to come up with as a way. Let's add that to our to-do. How can a user create a set of standard bets and make them all at once? So that, like, I think a lot of roulette players tend to do this, where they have a very specific layout that they like. It's a couple of birthdays and red or black and even or odd or whatever, and they tend to play that all the time. So it seems like, it seems like they would want to be able to say, place my bets or something like that, and it would just know, it would have a list already of the standard bets that you want to be able to make. That's a more advanced feature, but it's something that is now on our to-do list. So when we talk about start roulette, the first thing that we need to do is look at the Chatsino. Do I even have roulette in here? I don't. So, well, let's start with that. So we need a roulette folder here. And inside there, we're going to need an index.js. And then if we look at poker as an example, I'm going to need an evaluator. And we're going to need a position and a play. And what else do I have in poker? I think that's it. Okay. So index needs to say const play equals require Can't type today. And this is going to be play. And then we'll do an evaluator. Got to get used to this new keyboard. Cannot navigate. Okay. Const evaluator. Cancel. No, what am I doing? Require evaluator. This keyboard is rough today. Okay. And then the other one was position. Okay, so let's go look at our evaluator from the chatbot. So if I, goodness, I cannot even see that. It looks like I don't even have this on this machine. So did I open it? Oh man, okay. File, open. Alright, so I need to get some files that are on my old machine over here. Apparently I have not committed them or put them in any place where I can do that. So let's figure that out. Just bring the old machine over here for a second. This is the one that's running the Chatsino in the come on, machine, do this thing for me here. The monitor just went dark. There we go. I don't know, what was that? What? Okay. So if we look at the code that's on this machine, we have the Chatsino bot. I think that's the only place that I really have Roulette built out. Yeah. W. Giorgio hitting some big wins today. Okay. Oh, thanks, W. Giorgio. No problem. So what I need to do is get this evaluator code. So I have the chatbot. It's just now 10 o'clock. We'll see if anybody else shows up for this weird time that we're operating today. So it looks like what I first need to do is blow the Git stuff away. I know you guys can't see this, but let's just move those to the trash for the Chatsino bot. Then let's add a new repository. create. Yeah, see, it just keeps doing that. Let's try that again. Create new repository. Good morning, Trade Last. Good morning, Gold Zulu. We got started a little earlier than normal today. I mentioned to some folks that were here a bit earlier, like W. Giorgio. I'm going to change up my schedule a little bit, I think. I've been going 10 to noon Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and my plan right now is to move it a little bit to go 9 to 11 every day, well, every weekday. So we've already been rolling for an hour. I've only got about an hour left. I hadn't told anyone that I was going to do this, but I wanted to let you know. I'm also going to be doing the X-Wing pilot episode on Wednesday. So you'll want to tune in Wednesday to see all of that nonsense. We've been waiting quite a while. We hit 504 last week, and so just wanted to let you guys all know that that's what's going down. Bye. Thanks for coming. Okay. That's still not working, man. I feel like I got rid of all the files. So I'm having some issues where apparently I initialized multiple places in my on my old machine with GitHub stuff. And so now I can't seem to move how do I, let's see, can I destroy a repository? We can do this. I don't see any GitHub files. I don't understand why it keeps fighting me on this. So I want to create a new repository called Chatcinobot. And when I do that, it thinks I don't understand. If I go up a direct, there's no like. No. I am totally on a different screen, Trade Last. Yes, I'm on my old machine, actually. The thing that I'm struggling with is that I want to take all of this code and I want to get it off of my old machine. And I thought that I committed it to GitHub, but apparently I had initialized several directories with the same GitHub repository name. And so when I try to commit it, it's all locked up. So I'm going to just take all of this. See if we can just create a new directory. Well, let's create a new repository first. So we're just going to create a new repository. Bot chat. No, we'll call it Chatsino bot. And yeah, I was deleting all the Git stuff, and it's just not cooperating. So I'm going to do this another way, which is we'll we'll just publish this. Come on. We'll dump all of these files into a new directory, which seems to have worked. Well, no, they're still copying over. Okay, so we're going to have to wait for some files to copy over. That's exactly what I was trying to do, Gold Zulu, was delete the Git files and reinitialize, and it just kept finding it. So I don't know if I was just missing some of the files. I've got all the hidden file view stuff turned on, but I just wasn't able to do that. And apparently this is going to take a while. I guess I didn't really need to move node modules. That's probably the thing that's killing me. What if we just cancel this? Go back to our directory. Let's take everything except node modules. Any of that stuff anyway. All right, we're almost there. Okay, now we can ignore. Let's make sure that we're not doing anything dumb. File. Just I'm adding some stuff to the git ignore just to make sure I don't blow anything up. Okay, commit. Well, updated. Okay. Commit all that junk. Let's go. Every time I think I'm off of this machine, it pulls me back. Push. Let's push some code up to the GitHubs. All right, that is going, and then we'll be able to pull this down. So, okay. So now we are in a good position. We can bring this machine back up. And go play with some GitHub here. I don't want to do this right now. So if I come into here now, I should be able to clone a repository. And the one that I want is this one. Let's bring that down. And now we can play with it. Okay. So we go to GitHub. We have this Chatsino robot. And actually we want to do this. We want to open new window, open folder, Chatsino robot, open. So now I have my roulette code sitting here. And this is the stuff that we've been using. This is the code that you're running here locally. So the evaluator is certainly something that I'm going to need. So we'll take that, but that's going to need color, column, and position also. All right, well, let's start with this. And we'll come over to our code here, and we'll look at evaluator. And this is going to need color, column, and position. So let's come in here and create a color and a column, because we already have position. And then let's go look at what those are. So color is pretty simple. I think it just lays out which values are red, which values are black. Pretty easy. I'd be curious to know what you guys think about this. My kids are starting their first day of school today. They had days on Thursday and Friday to like figure out how to go to school remotely, basically. But today's like the first day of instruction. And my daughter's taking an AP Computer Science class that's taught in Java. And they asked her to get the JVM installed and to get a piece of software called JCreator installed. Which makes me feel like they're probably just going to use JCreator as their way to teach. The problem I have with that is that JCreator is a Windows-only piece of software, and I can't imagine that she's the only Mac user. So I told her, like, one of the first questions you should ask your teacher is, I have a Mac, what do you expect me to do? Because it's a Java class. Like, lots of people write Java on a Mac, and so there's plenty of tools out there, right? Eclipse and all sorts of other things that she could use. But it was weird that they, I mean, again, they're talking about high school students, so they try to make it a little more accessible. And I'm sure this is a piece of software that the teacher knows, but you can't force them into Windows. I do have an old cruddy Windows laptop she could use, but I don't want to make her do that. I got her a brand new MacBook Air in February. It seems like that's the thing that she should be using. Okay, so color, and then the other one we needed was position. JCreator, and it looks like there are Mac alternatives for it, but it's not going to be the same software. And my concern is that the teacher is going to be like, now click on this button, now do this thing, and that stuff's not going to exist in an alternative. So this is the position file. Great. And the last one I need is column. I mean, it is, and it can. I think it's just the teacher trying to teach in a way that's easier for them. I mean, I get that. So many times when I try to teach Alexa to people, like, it's so much harder when I've got a room full of multiple machines and browsers and all sorts of other things that people can run into. If I could have a unified experience for everybody, it would be way easier for me, but it feels like when you're teaching people, you need to teach them the way they can learn more than anything. Okay, so I have all those. So now let's take a look at what play looks like if we come back to the old one. We actually looked at that for a little while, was the idea of like an AWS workspace. We had them spun up for people. This was in the early days, but we did exactly what you're describing there, Gold Zulu. So if I look at my play file, that's what's going to go here. Now this is not correct. I'm going to need to change this a bit, but we have our function play, and the first thing that it wants to do is get random. So this play really feels to me like the thing, like this code is written as if I'm spinning the roulette wheel, which makes sense when I want to actually play roulette. It feels like I'm going to need another file, though. Yeah, trade less. There's a lot of things we could do, but I'm trying to not. I'm trying to not have my daughter forced into a position where she's only getting by because she has a technical father. Like her teacher should have the things in place to be able to let her do what she needs to do. I totally agree with you guys on the idea of parallels or boot camp or something like that, but I don't want to have to go through a bunch of custom configuration for her on her machine. I mean, she's a novice developer, right? She's really just learning this stuff, and I know what it feels like to be a novice at something. And so I told her, just push back on your teacher and be like, I have a Mac. What do you want me to do? And hopefully they'll have an answer for them. Because if they were teaching this in school, she'd be using a school's machine. So I understand where the teacher's coming from, but we'll see what their response is today. So anyway, this is play. I feel like what I really need is another file in Roulette, and this one's going to be called wager. And this is the thing that actually will be called initially. So when we look at the start roulette intent, this is where right here, we're gonna, if we look at how we did poker, we're gonna just have this result call. Now let's just take both of these lines. And if we look at start roulette, we can do the same thing, but this time it's gonna be roulette, and this is going to be wager. And so I'm going to need wager and position. And position is resolved, so I need position 0. So we need user, wager, and what did I call that? Position, okay? Position. Think like that. We'll see if I'm right, but that's what I think it should be. And then we should be getting a result back, and the result should be something like you have 50 coins on the table. You can say spin whenever you want. Okay, so we've now put ourselves in a dire position where our code will break until we get this stuff to work. So this can be saved, but we're not calling it for now. And then wager is this guy. So if I look at play, it needs, well, let's look at the poker play, because I think that's probably a safer look at what we're doing. I'm doing user, wager, and position. So if, is it a valid wager? That's the first thing we start with. So let's do that on, I gotta close some files, I got too much stuff open. Don't need play roulette right now. Okay, so for wager, no, I need more than that. I'm gonna need to take, let's take this whole top piece. It's not all right. We'll have to tweak some of this, but we can at least start here. So this is called wager. Now the thing that I need right now is cashier. Cashier is still a thing, and cashier is valid wager is a thing. But this needs to be user, wager, position. And the other thing that I'll need here is, I don't need deck. That's not a thing that exists. This is going to be wager. This is going to be wager. Your kid starts September 1st, Gold Zulu. So you still got a week or two? About a week? Yeah, this remote... Are your kids... UK school is going back to school and away from remote. So, well, you guys have been much more responsible, I think, about handling this pandemic. The United States is a disaster area. We've done about as many things wrong as we possibly could, and we're paying the price for that now. Our kids aren't going to be in school this year, I don't think. if I had to wager, to make a play on words there. I want to read this out loud, Trey. In addition to the lessons in Java, she'll be learning important life lessons on the variance between the ideal and the actual, and how solutions sometimes need to be self-generated. I do feel for those who don't have tech expertise in the house, and that teachers and the education system don't have all the answers and capabilities all the time. Yeah, I'm with you, Trey Last. I think that there's so much knowledge to be gained by being a software developer, because there's things you just want to do sometimes and you just can't for whatever reason, or you have to go down a specific path even though it's not the way you'd prefer to do it, and being able to solve things on the fly and I agree with you. I think that's a lot of the benefit of being able to go through a software curriculum, is learning really how to deal with things like logic, and being able to manage that properly. All right, no more sitting for a minute. We'll sit back down in a minute. So this is valid wager, and this is where we're going to pass back here, else, and we'll look at play here and see what we do there. We just send a code back, basically. Else return. I send back this little object. So we'll copy that, because that's all I really need to do here. But we'll have to pass the position back too. Else. Invalid wager, but I'll also want to pass back position on this one. And that's invalid wager. Then we're going to have another one nested in here that is if cashier.isValidPosition. I'm really not good with this keyboard yet. So this is a 2019 MacBook Pro. It was right before they changed back to the good keyboard. And so I'm going to say user position, because that's all I should need, is just whether or not that position is valid. I don't care about your wager. I've already made that decision. And this one will have else return user wager position. And this one should be invalid position. So that'll be a new error code that I have to handle. Goldzilla, do you guys go year-round in the UK? Do your students go year-round with just some small breaks in between? Or, like, because our kids here in the United States, for the most part, they're off from the end of May until now. So from May 24th to August 24th, they don't go to school at all. Which is actually another thing that I really hate about our educational system. My kids do pretty good. We're really, education's important here, but they regress so much in those 3 months where they just don't do anything in general. And I feel like I would rather have a few 4 to 6 week breaks during the year, but go all year, than I would to have a 3 month break and have them regress all summer. And then when you get back in the fall, you gotta start over. So that stuff is handled. What I don't know is, does isValid position work? This is the first time I'm using it since we moved over. So I need to look at cashier isValid position and see what that is. So we don't need any of this. I don't need this. And all I really care about is roulette, because we'll add craps to this eventually. I think I have a craps case down here. Yeah. So we'll eventually add craps to this. But this is valid position. So my case needs to know that it's roulette. I guess I'll have to pass that in. User position roulette. Okay, I can do that. So in here I pass in I don't even pass in the user. I guess that makes sense. I don't really need the user. I just need to know what their position is and what game they're trying to play and whether or not that's a valid position for that game. Okay, so I have position in game, and my call is position in game. July to early September, summer break, 6 to 7 weeks or so. Oh, so you guys wait till July, though. See, we're done end of May, early June, and we don't go back until the end of August. So it's legit 3 months, 12 weeks, which is, it's just too long, right? I've melted their brains on video games and vacations, and now they've got to get back to school and be like, how do I do this again? So this is looking at roulette position. And then I have the 00 in here because I know somebody really wanted 00 to show up. So if the position is 00, then we return true. If position is greater than 0 or less than or equal to 36, return true. If it's less than 0 or greater than 36, we return false. And then I'm checking to see if any of the other roulette positions match. They watch my streams occasionally. My son has tuned in, and I do work with them on building stuff. So it's not as if that doesn't happen, but it's also their summer, and normally I would have them. They'd be outside with friends and running around the neighborhood and whatever. But okay, this looks like it will work. So we're checking your request for a position against the actual array that I have. Not array, the enumeration, I guess, is the right way to think of it. And I'm just evaluating whether or not that thing exists, and if it does, then I return true, otherwise I return false. So I feel good about the isValidPosition function. So we now have, you try to start a game of roulette. One of the other things that I'll need to do here, create their first game. Maybe. I don't know if I do that here or maybe I do that here. Why create a game if they haven't made a valid wager or a valid position? But in here we need to create the user's wager. Tell the user to say, spin the wheel when they are done betting. Okay, so we're now in a position where we have called wager, we have isValidWager, isValidPosition, and those two things, if they're true, then we're going to do some stuff. Otherwise, we have our falsehoods. So let's go look at. It's not our index, right? No, not that. Let's go look at this, start roulette. So this is the thing that calls wager. And if I look at start poker, in this one we have this result status. So let's grab this because we'll probably need something very similar, and we'll need this. So let's go to start roulette. W. Georgia's just cleaning up today. How much would you like to bet? Please. Okay. That looks good. Before draw is not a thing we have. That one can go away. An active game. I don't really know that that's going to be a... well, yeah, I will have an active game because I'll let them know, like, hey, you... is that just going to be the thing? Like, hey, you have You already have bets on the table. I just added 5 more to this thing. Maybe that's the thing I do. Okay, so in here we need to actually create that game and create that wager. What do I do for poker? Where am I checking to see that they have an active game? Oh, I do that on the wager side. So in here, const active game equals get games by user record ID. That's not really so good, because they could have an active game of roulette and an active game of poker. And I think I considered this when I was first building it. Okay, so the thing we're doing though is we're calling this active game function, which we're going to have to change. So let's go to wager, and this is where in here, get games by user record ID. Can I do that? Yeah, I can, but I wanted to open the file. So let's get into data, get games by user record ID. So the thing that I'm checking here is just whether their status is active. I think I just need to add another parameter to this, which is game type. So this is the record I need to look at, is the game table. And I think I have this in helper to make my life easy, which is what a helper's for, right? So if I look at my helper file, not that one, the Chatsino helper. Yeah, see, I have roulette right here. And it looks like that now. Wow, Stream for Charities cleaning up. W. Giorgio takes care of people, and you have all the monies now. Oh, and they bet all of it. Oh, no. Oh, that's so great. Okay, so Wager is now doing a thing. I need to get back to this file, which is get games by user record ID. This needs to have a third parameter, which will look just like this. And this is going to have to be game type ID. And so this is going to have to be game type ID. I think that's what I called it, right? If we come to game, we look at the actual field, it is game type ID. Binary Chef, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome to our show of nonsense and gambling. We have a Chatsino running. If you have any questions, happy to answer them, but I'm glad you're here. And you earn a coin every time you post something in chat. So if you need some coins, let us know what's up, who you are, where you're at, what you're working on, why you're here. All that stuff is awesome. Okay, game type ID is the thing that I really care about. So I've got that right. And the value, if I can get this right, the value should be something like this. Game type ID. Boom. Okay. So now that that's the case, I need to go back here to play, and I need to pass in helper dot, this is for poker, so helper dot video poker is the game type ID for that. And then for wager here, oh, nice, Binary Chef. Well, welcome. I am happy to try and help facilitate some of those things. What's your event, Binary Chef? What's the event you're working on? And have we met? Do we know each other? Helper dot roulette. Okay. So now we're making sure that they only have an active game of the game type that we care about. tdevconf.com. Here, let's go take a look at that. Tennessee DevConf. CFP's open through August 31st. Oh, nice. This is great. Tells me when it is. Tells me how to register. This is a good page. Yeah, I've come to a number of events in the South, right? There's some really good ones that I've been to in Alabama and Florida and North Carolina, Georgia. Codestock is certainly, Codestock is one of the big ones. Music City Tech, DevSpace is one I was just at last fall. Music City Tech and DevSpace I went to last year. I haven't been to Codestock in quite a while, and I was going to go this year. I was a speaker for it, but obviously it got canceled. Yeah, there's some great events down in the Southeast United States. So let's do this, Binary Chef, just because I think this will be easier, and it's certainly worthwhile for you. So let's... That is an email address. Drop me an email, and I'm happy to have a conversation. We can figure out what we can do. I'm having some struggles with finding a bunch of money, but shoot me an email and we can figure something out. Okay, so now I have this active game thing where I can check and see if they have an active game. Now, what did I do over here? If there's an active game, why do I care? I guess I just need to pull it in as an active game and then put the bet against that versus creating a game for them. So if this is the case, then they have an active game. Great. So we're going to have to do this as a let. And then what we'll do here is say, okay, do they have an active game? Great. If they do, we set active game to that game and we do our stuff. If they don't have an active game, so if, what did I check that against here? If active game.length, yeah, because I guess there could be more than one. Active game.length is greater than 0. Wouldn't that be great, Stream for Charities, if we could just convert this to real currency? I'm sure W. Georgia would love to do that. I don't have that command implemented yet. We'll figure it out. We'll get there eventually. We'll turn it into Bitcoin or something. If active game.length, then we need to create a game. And I'm sure there's a... Did I already create a function for, like, just create game? What does create game do? So I call user and type, and it's going to create the game for me? Oh, that's brilliant. I love when I do brilliant things. Okay. Then active game equals await data dot create game, and I need to pass in my user, which I have, and I need to pass in the type, and the type is going to be helper dot roulette. Wow. Roulette. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So in either case now I have an object called active game, which is the game that I should be applying bets to. Okay, so now that we've done that, now we need to create a wager. Do I have that in the create wager? And I pass in user wager in game. I'm gonna have to change this to be it's gotten quite robust, Stream for Charities. The challenge with this casino is that I keep starting over. I keep reevaluating how I've handled it and what I want to do, and it's good, it's growth. But the way that I'm building it now is I'm starting with Alexa. So not only am I building the logic for the casino project, but I'm also building an Alexa skill that consumes it, which is a really good experience because it's forcing me to think carefully about how the casino is built so that I can reuse that same logic, the same code, to redo the casino that you're seeing here in the chat. But I'm also going to make it available on things like Discord and Slack and any place else that has a chat interface. As long as it's pretty easy to build for, I think I can do that. And then I can convert it to Alexa Conversations, yeah. Oh, sorry, Binary Chef. Yeah, I will say her name once in a while, and I apologize for that. So this needs to be tweaked. User wager position game. And that's going to break everything. So that's all well and good, but I need to find the other places where I'm creating a wager, which is going to be in roulette, in slots and in poker. So in here, poker play, we have a create wager somewhere. Create wager, this is going to have to be empty string for create wager, and then the same thing for slots, wherever that is. We must have a create wager in here, and this will have to also be empty, and that's fine. I don't mind putting... how do I keep all that information organized? I have notes, so one of the things that I do to try to manage all this is I have a to-do markdown file, and I just add things to like general features or poker or slots, right? These are things that I think I need to do, but this isn't a master list by any means. And then within code, one of the things that I do is I write a lot of pseudocode. Python is great for bots. .NET is great for bots. There's no real issue with using a different language to do that. But you'll also see, Stream for Charity, that I do a lot of this. So as I'm thinking through a specific module that I'm working on, I do this quite often, where I will just go in and say, okay, well, I'm going to have to create their wager, and then I'm going to have to tell the user to say spin the wheel when they're done betting, so that I know that those things are coming, like create their first game, right? This is something I wrote earlier, but I just did that. That's what this line here is. So right now, I should be able to say, what do I do on the poker play when I create their wager? I just call it bet. Do I ever do anything with that bet? I don't think I probably do. I just needed it to be created. So here, we could say const bet equals await data.create wager. And then inside this, I say user, wager, position, and game. And this is the game ID. So this is going to be active game.fields.record ID. Is how that should work. Let's see what I do in the poker example just to make sure I'm not screwing this up. I pass in the whole game? Okay, that's even easier. So we'll just do active game. Okay, so I have created their initial game. That only happens once. Every other time they will have a game open and ready to go. And then I've created the user's wager. We're going to need to test this here in a moment just to see where we broke things. And I'm going to leave the to-do for spin the wheel because... Kevin Evans, good morning. Hey, Kevin, you're one of the ones that I wanted to make sure I told. I'm shifting my schedule. I have actually been on here since 9 a.m. And we're going to be... I think we're going to move that to a more permanent schedule. So I'm going to be on here from 9 to 11 every day. And instead of 10 to noon Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's I think that's going to be my new schedule going forward. It just makes a lot of things easier. So hopefully I will see you guys here. Also for the regulars here, Trade Last, Kevin Evans, W Giorgio, Gold Zulu, and even Binary Chef. You're new here, but hopefully we'll get you to come more often. We recently hit 500 followers. I think you guys have noticed I'm at 504 now. And always looking for more, but I promised once we got to 500 that I would do an episode dressed entirely as an X-Wing pilot, and I am in fact, prepared to do that. So we're going to do it on Wednesday morning. So on Wednesday morning, the Wednesday episode from 9 to 11, I will be entirely dressed here on stream as an X-Wing pilot. So be ready for that. Every single message you post in the chat, Binary Chef earns you a coin, and the same is actually true for the Alexa skill. Every time you say something to the skill, it will give you another coin each time. So okay, so we've gotten to the point where we've created our wager. It's not available yet. I'm in the process of building it right now. That's what we're doing here on stream. It will be called Chatsino, though. That will be the name of the skill. Okay, so I've created my wager. What else do I need to do to pass things back? So once I've created my wager, I need to create a result object that looks like this. So let's do that. And our result is user wager. I don't really have a result yet, or an outcome, or a deck. Those all go away. Position. And this is going to be active game. I probably need to pass back the game too, right? Ooh, this is actually going to get tricky. I just realized one of the things that I'm probably going to want to be able to tell them is... Now, maybe I do that as a different intent. Let me get your opinion on this, you guys. When I'm playing roulette, right, I've put $10 on the red. And then I say, bet 5 on odd. Should I say, okay, got your bet, you bet 5 on odd? Or should I say, okay, I got your bet, you bet 5 on odd, I now have bets of this, and this, and this, and this, and like give you the list over and over and over of where all of your bets are? Or is that something that you should just ask for? And you get it when you ask for it only, but otherwise I only tell you about the bet you just made. What are your thoughts on that? I feel like it could get kind of annoying if I'm listening to all, like every time I make a bet I have to hear all the bets I have on the table. I feel like that could be annoying. What are your thoughts? Yeah, ask for it. If not, I'm just spamming you. That's kind of exactly what I was thinking. Okay, so let's say here, no, I don't want to set up Siri. I have that that touch bar that's along the top of this Mac, and I tap it all the time and it asks me if I want Siri. I gotta get rid of that button. Okay, this is gonna be return result, and then we're ready to do some testing. So I have basically come in. You've told me you want to make a bet on roulette. I check to make sure it's a valid wager. I check to make sure it's a valid position, that you can actually make a bet on that position. Then I check and see if you already have a game of roulette open. If you do have a game, great, we move on. If you don't have a game, I want this to be that. If ActiveGame.length is 0, then I want to create a game. That would have been bad logic. Okay, and then we create a wager based on the wager you just made, using the game and the position and the wager that you've provided to me. And then I need to return back to you and say, okay, I have your wager and your position. You have an active game. And then the skill will say something like, say spin the wheel when you're ready to start betting. Okay, so we'll save that file. We'll go take a look at our start roulette intent. And this is where we have our active game. So this is where I'm getting back that result, right? Because I call in here, that's where I call wager and I get my result. And then in here I'm going to say, you have an active game. So I'm going to say, I don't really care to tell them they have an active game of roulette because that's kind of expected. There's just a roulette table always waiting for you. You wagered result.wager coins on result.position. I definitely don't need this. And I don't need that. Which cards do you want to hold? I need none of that either. Okay. So in an active game situation, I say you wagered 10 coins on red. You can place another bet, or you can say spin the wheel when you're ready. What would you like to do? And to follow my practices, I should ask the question first. So this is one of the things that I recommend for all skills. You wager 10 coins on roulette. What would you like to do next? You can place another bet, or you can say spin the wheel when you're ready. Okay. That's the way that I want to do it. Let's see what Kevin's question was. Are themed streams for different days beneficial? For example, Monday is Alexa Skill Dev, Wednesday's Web Dev, Friday's Alexa. Or is that confusing? I think just getting people to even remember what time you're on is a big win. I don't think that you're going to get people to remember that Mondays are Alexa. Unless it's like the few of you that are here all the time. You guys probably would know that. But in general, I feel very fortunate that you guys even remember what time I'm on. So to get you to remember, like, oh, I only care about the Alexa stuff, I'm going to come on Mondays and Fridays, that's probably harder to get you to think about or commit to. I'd rather you show up and be like, oh, he's doing that today, I'm out. That would be fine. And so I need an invalid position case also. I feel like I'm probably going to need to position. I don't need to elicit a slot. Oh yeah, I do. This is another thing that I discovered that is super awesome. Have you guys used eliciting slots? It's not. I knew it existed, but it's not something that I'd played with a lot, especially recently. Do you guys use this? I know there's a slight delay on the stream, but I'd love to know if you guys have used eliciting a slot, because it is golden. And it has saved me so much work and effort that I would otherwise have to fight through. So I'm just curious if you guys use this, because if you're not, you really should be. The position you indicated. Is invalid. I don't need any of this. So the position you indicated is invalid. I think as part of helper, I think I have a get the positions as like a set of strings. That would be the other helper. But I feel like I might have built this already. Get slot speech, get card speech. Change voice wrap. Did I not build this? This would be pretty easy to build if I haven't done it already. Nope, looks like I have not. So I have this get card speech. That's pretty close. We'll call this get position speech. And this will be positions. And then we're just going to do positions dot length. And then speech is positions. Okay, let's see if that does what I need it to do. So this should say, like, if I give it a list of positions, and let's look at my position list. If we go into Roulette, let's look at position. These come back with that's tricky because I have to have these positions to evaluate against, but I don't really want to tell them like all the numbers. That feels gross. Maybe I'll just write this out as speech. Okay. So if we come back into our wager, no, we come back into the start roulette intent. This is where I'm going to say the valid positions you can bet on are 00, the numbers 0 through 36, any of the numbers 0 through 36, and then or any of these, no, or 00, any of the numbers 0 through 36, and also red, black, even, odd, top, bottom, high, middle, low, column 1, column 2, and column 3. Please try your roulette wager again. Okay, that's a lot, but we'll do it. So I'm going to be able to elicit the position if I don't have it, which makes it much easier to catch that data. Alexa, it's 11 o'clock. Alexa, stop. You guys didn't even warn me. My clock was timing down there. Alexa, stop. All right, so let's give this a test. This is going to fail horribly. But let's see how it goes. npm run dev. P. Karthik R. Good to see you, man. Hey, Karthik, it's good you're here. We're going to do the the X-Wing pilot episode on Wednesday morning, and also I had to move my times up a little bit, which I know is a time that you often stream, but I'm going to go from 9 to 11 my time every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I used to go 10 to noon, so I'm moving up an hour, and we're going to try and go every day. Okay, so we've got that working. We've got the developer console right here. I don't know that they necessarily work better, but it's the flexibility that I have, right? I don't have my evenings and my weekends free. I've got kids with sports and family time and everything else that those are just too valuable to me to try to do them at night. So my hope is that people will be able to tune in, or just like I know a lot of the folks that are here in the room regularly, they're just working, but they happen to also have me on in the background. So let's try bet 10 on roulette and see where it breaks.
Where should I place your bet of 10 coins on the roulette table?
Perfect. Red. Now's where it'll break. For sure it'll break. We haven't tested any of this yet. Identifier speak output has already been declared. That's because of this. Oh my gosh, Visual Studio is here? What? 84 people? Guys, we're getting raided. I just wanted to let everybody know that Visual Studio is on its way here with 84 people. We have so much to share with people. We're obviously running some VS Code here, so welcome, welcome. It's good to have Visual Studio here joining us. But something you guys should all know, those of you that are joining here as part of the raid, we have a virtual casino running here in the chat. And so if any of you would like to participate, just by posting messages in the chat, you will automatically earn a coin every single message that you post. C# Fritz is here. My goodness, this is quite a treat. I did not expect to have a big party showing up from the Visual Studio crew today. Thank you, C# Fritz. I don't know if you're the one behind this, but you might be. It's good to have you here. We're in the process of building a casino, not only for Alexa, but also for every chat platform you can think of. So when this chatbot is done, you'll be able to run it in Discord and Slack, and it runs on Twitch now. It's running here in the chat room. But it's also going to be available on Alexa and pretty much anything else that you can think of as like a chat-based experience. So that's the logic that we're working through right now, and I broke something. So let's try that again. What if I say bet 10 on roulette? Let's see what happens. Look, there's our leaderboard. You can see that. But W. Giorgio has had some amazing strikes of luck. All you have to do to play here, I can show you guys how this works. If you want to get in on the casino, obviously this is all fake money. You're not wagering any real money, but you can say things like poker 5, and you can see I just bet 5 and I won 5 because I got a pair of queens. So yeah, the binary chef, the status changes quite a bit, and somebody did give you 50,000 coins, which also doesn't necessarily help you. We also have slots 5, so you can play slots and get little emojis to see whether or not you won or lost. I lost that time. So give it a try. You start with 100 coins automatically, and every time you post a message into the chat, you also get another coin. So just by participating and playing around and talking with us, you will earn more coins. So Dead VI 5, lost 5 coins. Man, 7653. No luck there. And you can see that people can also give you coins. So the exclamation point give will allow, as Karthik just did there, he gave Viral Flow 70 more coins. So lots and lots of fun to be had here. I'm glad you guys are joining us. And I'm going to keep rolling on getting this thing working because I'd really love to wrap some things up here. So let's quit our skill. This is Alexa development, by the way, if you guys haven't seen this. And I'm going to say open the Chatsino.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Oh, did I break everything? I did. Let's try that again. Okay, we're back up and running. Let's start the skill. Open the Chatsino. Welcome me.
Welcome to
there
the
we go.
What would you like to do?
Now we're going to do that bet 10
on red. We'll just do bet 10 on red.
Jeff, there was an error.
Ooh, I like errors.
What should
Cool.
we do now?
Okay, so let's see what our error was. We just wrote a whole bunch of code without testing any of it. So now we're trying to figure out what could be going wrong. So cannot read property wager of undefined. Okay, so let's look at start roulette. I think it's because I didn't include chatsino.roulette.wager. I'm sure this is where it's breaking. So what I need to do is, you know what it is? I didn't finish up my my roulette index file, so I'm sure that's probably the issue. We have all of these, but we don't have wager, and I didn't export any of these, so this isn't going to work at all. Wager equals require wager, and then we need to do a module like this, and inside this we need to have evaluator, play, position, and wager. Okay, so now we have the files there that we need. And why is position freaking out? Because it's not a function. It's just a list of things. Okay, so let's try that again. I didn't completely break things this time though. So we should be able to just say the same thing. Bet 10 on red.
Jeff, there was an error.
Give me a new error.
What should we do now?
The new error is cannot read property wager of undefined. What are you talking about? Okay, let's be more responsible about looking at this. On line 9. Await. Chatsino.roulette.wager. Did I not just fix that? Could have sworn I just fixed that. Chatsino.roulette.wager. Seems like it's there. And seems like this is all fine. I don't know why you're telling me that it doesn't exist. Viral flows, another 170 lost. It's rough. The casino is very not generous. Viral flows 10,000. Oh no, 10,000 coins lost, just like that. I have some magic. I built some magic into it. Is C# Fritz still here? Let's see if we can give him some coins. Give C# Fritz 1,000 coins. There we go. And let's give not C#, let's give viral flows. This is like printing currency. This doesn't come out of my balance. I have the power to just give anybody money anytime I want. That's the joy of being a moderator on this chatbot, is you can just give people money without having to worry about it. It's like printing money in the U.S. Mint, right? Just, hey, here's some money. Oh, there we go. Dead VI5 just 150 with a pair of queens. Nice work. Okay, back to figuring out why this isn't working. So you're saying here, let's look at our error more deeply. I'm coming in here and we're hearing cannot read property wager of undefined, and that is because we're talking about start roulette intent. This guy. I have the Chatsino included. So roulette should be... Oh, that's why. Because I hadn't included... If we come into the actual root of the Chatsino, this is just me not adding roulette as a game. PQR, const roulette, require... If you don't include the roulette module, it turns out it can't play it. That's something I learned a little while ago. I don't have these in alphabetical order, and that annoys me. Roulette. We'll take this one. Put it here. Like so. And that feels so much better for me. Oh my gosh. Gold Zulu hit 3 grapes. That's pretty awesome. That's 13x. Jeff Blankenburg. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect, Karthik. So we didn't break it. So I think I can just come back here and bet 10 on red. Doesn't seem to like what I'm doing.
The requested skill did not provide a valid response.
Cannot find module Airtable. Where am I calling Airtable? It's got to be inside the wager, I would guess. No. So let's think about this. It has to be in the roulette stuff. So let's look at evaluator. No. Play. Wager. Position. It's got to be the play. And it is, but we're not even calling that. So fine, I'll blow this all away because I don't really need it yet. If you're really going to be a pain about it. Viral Flows, thanks for coming, man. Dead VI, thanks for being here. Stop by any other time. We'd love to have you. Oh, you guys aren't leaving. Karthik's leaving. Oh, Karthik. Thank you, man. Thanks for swinging in. Always good to have you here. Bet 10 on red. Give me something.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
What? Oh, we killed the skill. Okay. Open the Chatsino.
Welcome to the chat.
Bet 10 on red.
Jeff, there was an error.
I know there was an error. We wrote a bunch of code and didn't test it. I know. Cannot read property game type of undefined. Now we're looking at is valid position. Okay. Is valid position is right here. And you're saying that I can't check game type right here. Game.fields.gametype. And that's because I didn't know what I was doing when I called this. So we need to go back into our wager file. And I was just passing in roulette. But what I need to do is pass in... What do I do in... This is the old version. This is the casino you guys are actually sitting in right now. But if we look at roulette and we look at play, which is the file I have open, where do we check? Is valid position. I'm passing. Oh, I see. I just do it like this. Okay. It's fine. I can live with that. I don't know why I need to do that, though. But I'll do it. If that's what you need, I'll do it. Okay. That's one of the breaky ones, right? No, it still works. Okay. So we should be able to say bet 10 on red.
You wagered 10 coins on red. What would you like to do next? You can place another bet, or you can say spin the wheel when you're ready.
That worked. Guys, let's go check our data because I wasn't expecting you to get there so easily. So now you can see that I, as a user, well, oh yeah, that's fine. I as a user, have a new game of roulette that is currently active. I have 10 coins that are currently wagered. And if we look at our wager table, you can see that I have a bet of 10 on red for a specific game ID, which is this record way out here. So, oh my gosh. So what if we do it again? What happens if I say bet 20 on odd? Does this just work? Bet 20 on odd.
Jeff, there was an error.
Okay.
What should we do now?
Still have a little work to do. So this one said, cannot read property record ID of undefined, and this is create wager, line 12. Game.fields.record ID. What am I calling when I say create wager? All right, so this could be a situation where we are maybe not getting our record back the way we expect it to. So let's take a look at what active game actually looks like. Like so. Okay, man, a lot of good gambling going on. And we're going to move this so that we get the right one. So we'll do it right there. Is our skill still working? It is. Okay. So what if I say bet 20 on odd?
Jeff, there was an error.
I know.
What should we do now?
I know there was an error. It certainly looks like I have a record ID. So, game. Oh, it's just I need a zero. I need active game 0. That's all. Okay, it's an array issue.
You wagered 10 coins on red.
Yeah.
What would you like to do next?
All right, cool. So if we
You can
look
place
at our
another
data
bet,
now,
or you can say spin the wheel when you're ready.
I have 2 wagers. 10 on red. I didn't say 10 on red, did I? Let's try it again. I thought I said the bet 20 on... I did say bet 10 on red. So bet 20 on odd.
You wagered 20 coins on odd. What would you like to do next?
How you like me
You
now?
can place another bet, or you can say spin the wheel when you're ready.
Okay, so we've gotten this to a point now where we've got roulette working. We can place multiple bets, and we can see that we have them all here. 10, 10, and 20. The 20 is on odd. Kyle Phillip, thank you for the follow. Thank you. We're going to be doing a cool thing on Wednesday where I'm going to do an entire episode dressed as an X-Wing pilot. We also need to figure out on that episode, give you guys some time to think about it, what should I do when we get to 1,000? If we can ever get to 1,000. But what should we do if we get to 1,000? What should be the, I don't know if it's the punishment or the embarrassing thing that I'm going to have to do or whatever. I'd love your thoughts on that. Okay, so I was going to stop at 11, but then we had all of these wonderful people show up, and I didn't want to just abandon you all. So this is going to have to be our wrap-up for now. We've gotten ourselves to a point now where video poker is working. We can place a bet and get the initial hand. The thing that we're struggling on right there, and let's go to our to-do list actually to clean these final thoughts up. So I have a to-do list. If we think about poker, we're going to add this as our top level item because this is a blocker almost. Why does using multi-value slots with Amazon.number result in a single, in concatenating the digits into one number? This is a blocker for me right now that I need to solve. And then the other thing that I need to do is for roulette. DeadVI5, thank you for the follow, man. So cool. We do all sorts of crazy things here. A lot of them are related to voice, chat, Alexa, that kind of stuff. But we're forging forward quickly on this chatbot. So for the roulette one, this needs to be, we need to give the user a way to hear all of their current wagers on the table. this will apply to craps later also. And then we also need, we haven't built a way to spin the wheel yet. Spin the wheel yet. Okay. Those are good. I have those written down. Up here at the top, do I have sound effects? Locked in OS had a list of sound effects. I'm just going to add that as another item because I really want to get some sound effects in here. I want to play with APLA. I think that might be a cool way to do it. It's Dead VI 5, Kevin Evans, I think. Sound effects. Got to make that a priority. Okay. So the chatbot will keep running. I'm leaving that open, so if you guys want to keep playing here in the chat, even when I'm not streaming, it is available. But I'm going to wrap some things up for now. I think the last step that I should take is to jump into GitHub and let's take our stuff. Started roulette, didn't finish poker. Commit, push. And so if you guys ever want to see any of this code or play with it or just see how some of this stuff works, this entire repository is available on my GitHub. So you can go to github.com/JeffBlankenburg. And the repository is called Chatsino Alexa. So if you want to take a look or dive in or see how any of this stuff works, feel free. But with that, I'm going to have to sign off for now. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. The chatbot will keep running, but thank you guys all so much for